Good welcome all. My name is UsernameHere, joined by my co-commentator and good buddy Devion, and this is episode 17 of the Grand Marshal Grand Tournament. Welcome, please, chasing fans, Grand Marshal enthusiasts, and BeamNG players alike, to a very lovely day on Gold Coast. And also, might I welcome you to the year of 2022, because the nightmare never ends. Anyway, so yes, I think it is time to start our old lineup for this new episode in a new year.
So yes, it's been quite a hiatus since we last did an episode, which was last year. And yeah, we might be a little rusty, but we're going to see how this goes.
I know, the last time we did this was the last time we did this, jokes.
Yes, comedic genius within the voice chat.
Comedy genius over here, ladies and gentlemen. No need to thank me. Wait, I hear the Harvard comedy scholarships coming in as well. Anyway, in our first position, we have Mississippi State Trooper currently in the lead with 11 points, I believe. Yes, on the lead with 11 points, who has been battling the entire tournament with Police Interceptor for that first place position. And at the moment, he has it. However, the real question is, will Police Interceptor take it from him this episode, or will he be able to hold it?
I think Interceptor might get his lead back. You know, he's known to come up with like that 3-round win episode where he took the lead, I'm pretty sure.
Yes, Police Interceptor casually stealing the spotlight for that pretty much record of most rounds won in an episode, which, by the way, is all of them. So, Police Interceptor could definitely come in from behind and give it a steal, or Police Interceptor could just screw up at the beach turn like he always does.
Right, there's only one way to find out, and it's by letting this episode play out and making sure you guys stick by and watch.
Indeed, yes. But first, a word from our sponsor, Pointy Markers.
No sponsor. No,
no sponsor. This is a non-profit show, ladies and gentlemen. Anyway, in our second place position, Police Interceptor, we honestly already talked about them. Yeah, fierce competitor, little bit of a brutish competitor, one could say. Currently holding with 10 points, lost his lead to Mississippi, gained it back several times. Potentially, this episode could be more of the same, or potentially Mississippi might further his lead, or Police Interceptor will reclaim it. There's just no way of telling what's going to happen over here with Police Interceptor. In our third place position, we have the city of Toronto, Canada, with currently 1 point. So, emerging competitor here, I would pretty much say, and I'm honestly not really sure what else to say about them. You know, yes, Toronto is the winner of the No AI Invitational and came out swinging in the first episode he was in with 1 point. So, immediately better than some of the other competitors in the past that have been eliminated. We'll see, however, if Toronto will be able to grab some new points for himself, or if maybe he'll just bide his time and try to learn the ropes.
Yeah, and let's see if he can win with awareness on, because that's how he made it in with no awareness, and see how adaptable he is to situations.
Indeed, yes. Adaptability is one thing that we are searching for in these competitors. You have to be adaptable in order to win many of these rounds, unlike Detroit.
Right, the third place strategy eventually was the reason why he ended up getting kicked off the show. Well, eliminated. I wouldn't really say kicked off.
Detroit had a good strategy and stuck to it, but then the strategy stopped working. And then so did Detroit, because they don't have a job anymore, because this was their entire livelihood.
Yeah, unfortunately, they're now living on the streets. And
Detroit is now living on the streets of Detroit. It's very ironic and also very tragic.
Yes.
Support the Give Detroit a House Fund. In our fourth place position, we have USA Army Police, who is currently holding with, I would say, I think 2 points. Hold on just a moment. I would say with 2 points. Yes, you'll have to forgive me. It's been like 8. Yeah. Since August, which is the 8th month, that's where that came from, it's been 4 months. So yes, USA Army Police here in the fourth place position with 2 points. A respectable competitor, but hasn't really made the biggest name for himself, I would say. However, that could, of course, change because there are a lot of competitors here that are looking to make something happen and break out from the rest of the pack. In our fifth place position, a true classic who's been here since the start of the game, Transit Police, a very fierce competitor. Also the winner of one of his own tournaments way back in the day. I know, can you believe that? Winner of one of his own tournaments who actually managed to defeat Detroit in the last episode. Yes, it was very, very fierce battle in that final round in which these two were both tied for, I believe, third place. And in the end, it came down to only one will remain, and it was Transit Police. Transit Police was successful in that endeavor, and as a result, they are still here. But and they're probably going to have to make sure they make something happen as a result of that. They're probably going to be riding high off of that victory, and maybe they'll be able to pick up a 9th point and maybe even start to threaten Police Interceptor.
Yeah, Transit Police is currently 3rd in the standings right now, and has quite a point advantage over the rest of the field, with like the smallest gap is being 5 points away, which is JTF.
Indeed, yes. And speaking of JTF isn't in 6th place actually. Oh yeah, he is. And speaking of JTF, in our 6th place position, still absolutely insane that JTF was able to win the invitational that he did. And ever since then, though, he's been grabbing himself up a few points, 3 points. I would say not really as much as one would expect, but he is definitely a fierce competitor who loves to come in and especially works well when he's in last place. So I would say he's pretty much climbing those point standings slowly but surely, and potentially JTF could pick up a few more points and catch up the Transit Police because he has a long way to go. And in our 7th place position, falling in from its homeland, is the South Australian police car. Yes, some recommendation from the land down under, who kind of didn't get the memo that gravity is the other way around in this particular area. It's an Australia's upside down joke, but we'll see if they'll be able to turn the runner's world upside down by employing some police chasing skills from, again, the land down under. And in our final position, in the last place position, we have Niagara Regional Police, who actually has managed to get 2 points in the few episodes that Niagara has actually been here. However, still currently tied as well with the U.S. Army Police. So yeah, we'll definitely have to put in a lot of work to break that tie, and then break the tie with JTF if they manage to get a point this episode. Essentially, Niagara is in last place, and they have a lot to learn and a lot to work through if they're going to have a chance of challenging someone like Transit or Police Interceptor.
Right. What I've noticed is that there's a lot of non-American cars within this tournament at this point. We have Niagara, which is from Canada. We have Australia, which is from Australia, as you may have guessed.
Who would have thought?
Yeah, and then we have Toronto up there, which is also from Canada. And technically, Police Interceptor doesn't have a country, so you could say he's from like Mars or like something like that. I don't know.
Wow, little known fact that Police Interceptor is actually from Mars. So little known fact actually that when they went into Area 51, they just found Police Interceptor, and that's why Police Interceptor is here, because they're stranded and they need to win the money from win the imaginary money from this tournament in order to get themselves a spaceship built to go back to their home planet. Lore. But in any event, that is the end of our lineup. Start your engines, fasten your seatbelts, turn on your lights and sirens, because round number, I almost said 1, which is technically true, 1 for this episode. Round number 49 is about to begin. And they are off, ladies and gentlemen. They appear to be in stealth mode, but they have figured out how to disengage it. We have all our competitors moving ahead. U.S. Army Police in 4th, Transit Police in 5th, JTF in 6th, South Australia in 7th, and Niagara in last. Sounds
right,
like it's gonna be...
yeah, Australia's gonna have a lot of positions to make up, being his first tournament. He's gonna... Oh, he's actually...
Yes. Oh, but he's already moving ahead of JTF. Look at that. Australia coming out pretty fierce. So would you look at that? Yeah, we've immediately got ourselves a new aggressive competitor to replace Detroit. Some overtakes are happening here as well. Transit Police is in 3rd now. Transit Police employing the tactics of its defeated brethren. U.S. Army Police, I think, losing a position to, I'm not even sure who that is. JTF up in front. That's Toronto. Yeah, so I think Toronto actually started in 3rd. So Toronto maybe lost a position. Yeah, Transit Police moving ahead by 2. And I have to say, Transit Police with a pretty aggressive start, as well as South Australia. This is shaping up to be a very interesting round.
Yeah, it looks like there's been no collisions so far, which I'm pretty glad, because I don't have to, like, fix any of the cars or put them back on the road. It makes my job much easier.
Indeed, yes. Devion's job is much easier. Runner almost hitting that rock. So Transit Police coming out very aggressively and actually employing the strategies of his defeated competitor. I must say, very smart for Transit Police. He's riding high off his victory, and he knows he doesn't really need to perform that well, so he's trying something new. It's very smart on his end. I would say that is a very nice strategy. Niagara as well, moving ahead. So JTF, but JTF overtaking JTF is actually battling Niagara, and it looks like JTF will win out from that competition, which is strange because JTF actually greatly enjoys being in last.
So far nothing really interesting happening in front of the pack. It's just no overtakes yet. Oh, someone spins
Oh,
out.
JTF spinning out. No, Niagara as well. U.S. Army Police, 3 cars are out, so unfortunate for them. Over on this forest turn, looks like they're going to be having some trouble. Niagara might be able to figure it out, but JTF and U.S. Army Police will be needing some help. Niagara figures it out and actually moves up a few positions. JTF now in, I believe, 7th, and U.S. Army Police, who's a bit busted up, is in last. How are things going over at the runner?
Yeah, USA Army Police got pretty damaged from that. It might hinder his performance within this round.
Indeed, yes, and it looks like the chase is moving up to the beach turn, and this is usually where some things shine. In fact, Transit Police could potentially pick up a win here. Actually, wait, no, that happens usually in the 3rd lap. But yeah, Transit Police could pick up a win if normal things happen, and by normal things, I mean it didn't. But Police Interceptor is having a bit of trouble over here. So is Transit Police going into the sand, and I believe that's Toronto behind them. So it looks like Mississippi. Oh, Toronto actually manages to save it and get back on the road. Someone else is on the rocks. I'm not sure who that is. South Australia is now actually in 3rd place as well. Police Interceptor and Transit Police struggling. I think I saw a car in the back as well. So how are things going at the runner as Niagara crashes as well into the rocks? Transit Police moving ahead in front of Police Interceptor. Mississippi getting a pit on the runner, so who is in 2nd place? They are poised to grab themselves. They are poised to grab themselves a point here. That is Toronto, Mississippi, and Toronto coming in to stop the runner over here on this first run lap.
Well,
South Australia as well, actually beating Mississippi. South Australia helping the runner to keep it going. Transit Police off the Police Interceptor right into the front of the runner. Transit Police tried to be cool and ramp off of the cliff, but it didn't work for him, and it looks like South Australia basically opened the door for Police Interceptor to tie it with Mississippi. JTF coming in here with a bump, and everyone just works together as well. Nice. So the runner not technically dead, but I think I'm going to say Transit Police missed. It was very bold of him to do that, but Transit Police seems to have missed, and it looks like Police Interceptor will be taking that round.
Yeah, it ended pretty quickly, actually, just after the first lap. Basically, Mississippi gave the point away to Police Interceptor and giving away his lead as well.
So yes, round 41, South Australia opens the door, Mississippi chokes, and Police Interceptor has the door open to grab himself a point. Transit could have stole it, but Transit tried to ramp off the cliff and be cool, so a little unfortunate for them. So that is a bit problematic for Transit Police, but he's okay. He's riding off quite the victory, so he'll be able to shrug this off and come back in the next round. What do you think as well of South Australia's performance in that first round?
This is his first round in this tournament, and he's already like causing major headaches. Yeah, well, major effects on the nature of the tournament in terms of the points, because he basically gave Interceptor another point and took the lead away from Mississippi, despite having 0 points so far.
Indeed, yes. South Australia with a very interesting strategy. Coming out aggressive, grabbing a few overtakes almost immediately, and then essentially handing it to Police Interceptor. I would say very, very interesting strategy, very strange. Ultimately will not help them be crowned as the best Grand Marshal, though.
I was pretty surprised that Interceptor got another point, because we were talking about how he
I know, we jinxed it.
Yeah.
It was jinxed, ladies and gentlemen.
You know, multiple cars were coming in this direction, and I wonder if anyone's stuck at the beach turns.
That is true, yeah. I believe Niagara is not present here.
Yes, he is
in
the water.
Yeah, there's someone in the water. That would be Niagara, yes, as I imagined. Who else is not present? U.S. Army Police is not present, and there's a... Who else is not present? Toronto's over there. I think JTF is over there. There's U.S. Army Police screwing things up over at the long turn at the end of the long straight. And I believe there's one more car unaccounted for that I can't remember for the life of me. Oh, right, Mississippi, but he's around the corner. That's why I forgot.
Right, so yeah, looks like a point goes to Interceptor. And we'll now clean everything up and move on to the next round.
Jumping right into the next round. Round number 50, actually. Can you believe it's round number 50, my friend Devion?
Yeah, it's been like 50 rounds since the first one. And that's how counting works.
Said, yep.
Yeah.
So, it looks like our tie has been reinstated again. Mississippi and Police Interceptor are now tied for first, both with 11 points, and it really goes to show the aggression of these top competitors.
Right, you think any overtakes are gonna happen here, username? Because
Potentially, yes. Cinematic corner. Looks like Transit Police trying to move around U.S. Army Police, but not really able to. And it looks like Toronto keeping in third. U.S. Army Police doing something weird. Transit Police actually bumps into U.S. Army Police and takes advantage of it. It looks like South Australia right behind the JTF trying to pit maneuver Niagara, even though JTF is actually in the back. So yeah, a few overtakes. Transit Police trying to gain themselves some ground after the slight upset in the last round, I would say. Nice rock, by the way.
remember, JCF is in the back right now, but he
Oh,
does shine
Niagara
from the back.
screams past U.S. Army Police, which actually looks like he's going to. Looks like U.S. Army Police might have been sabotaged by Transit Police. I wonder if he has a plan here. If he was just trying to go for some aggression against his fellow competitors.
I think his steering might be broken, so that's why he's going much slower than the other cars.
Yeah, his right wheel is stuck turning left. So yeah, his steering's a bit busted.
Oh wow!
In fact, into the rocks. U.S. Army Police having a bad time, and I would say a result of the collision with Transit Police.
He's getting really screwed over in this episode right now.
True, yes. U.S. Army Police having a really bad day. Transit Police in fourth now, holding it in fourth. Toronto holding that third position. Looks like things are going relatively normal, I would say. There could be a few problems here. Transit Police having a bit of trouble. Drifts out of the trouble unless they're stuck. South Australia drifts out of it as well. Looks like Transit Police will recover from this. JTF, however, will not be so lucky. Niagara moving ahead as well. Transit Police losing a few positions there. Unfortunate for them, but Transit Police showing that they know how to recover from bad situations.
Really tough day for USA Army Police. He's got taken on the forest turn and as well on the the incline, yeah.
Yes, the incline. As the runner screams across the long turn into the town, followed closely by our leaders. Police Interceptor having a bit of a problem over there. Police Interceptor taking that turn a little bit weird. Toronto following in third in the footsteps of Detroit, and here comes the first run of the beach turn.
Right, which cars do you think are going to wipe out? I believe second and third.
Oh, potentially. Police Interceptor not knowing how the beach turn works anymore. Toronto taking that second place position. And we have South Australia, Niagara moving ahead as well. South Australia going into the sand. Niagara striking Police Interceptor. Transit Police just having themselves a freaking barrel roll over there. And now Mississippi and Toronto are in first and second respectively. Mississippi making contact with the runner. Could be another potential pit maneuver. Toronto trying to make something happen as well. Toronto and Mississippi are now battling for that point. The runner is turned around. And the runner is going to have a very hard time getting away from these two competitors.
Oh, it looks like they're battling it out, so they let the runner
hard time, I mean they just battled it out. Now the runner is actually turning on Toronto. Look at that. The runner deciding he's just sick of being bullied today. And yes, here comes Police.
No, it's
Niagara,
not.
Actually, I'm an idiot. That's Niagara trying to see if they can do something. Are they going to do something? They bump the runner there. It is essentially a three-way tie for this round. The runner is getting free just a little bit. They are turned around by Niagara, and will they
screwed up. They screwed up.
The answer is yes. Maybe. Wait.
Depends if the runner wants to go somewhere. Who's next in the lineup to get him?
Who is next in the lineup? That's a good question. Is there someone under you?
There's multiple cars wiped down the beach turn. I do not believe
multiple cars having trouble on the beach turn. Transit Police looks like he can't even move anymore. Police Interceptor moving ahead as well. South Australia trying to make something happen. It looks like things are going here. The runner's being pit maneuvered by Niagara. Here comes Police Interceptor. Niagara slamming him against the barrier.
He loses a wheel.
A nice job. He's lost a wheel as well. This runner, this particular round, will not quit. Here comes Toronto with the assist. And is the runner down? Police Interceptor missing completely. Hits Toronto. Police Interceptor actually battling with Mississippi. So those two with their personal grudge. Mississippi bumping into Toronto. There's just South Australia. How do you even call this round, ladies and gentlemen? How would you even call this?
I think the round point will go to, I believe, Niagara, because he took out the wheel.
Niagara took out the wheel, smashed him up against the barrier, and essentially was the catalyst for this entire pileup. So yeah, I would say that's pretty fair. Niagara will be taking this round.
So it looks like the point will be going to Niagara Regional Police, but let's go over the other cars that participated within this round.
Indeed, yes. Niagara Regional Police will be taking that round, shockingly enough. Police Interceptor and Mississippi, I would say, pretty strange on their part, because Police Interceptor just forgot how to do the beach turn, and then at the end of that, Police Interceptor screamed past the runner and the pileup and smashed right into Mississippi, almost content to stop Mississippi from winning, even if it meant Police Interceptor wouldn't win as well. Toronto as well had themselves a pretty nice game, staying in third, playing it a bit safe, and was able to participate in stopping the runner around the end of it. So Team Canada coming out here, Niagara will ultimately be reaping the point from that brief appearance by Team Canada.
You know, I was actually hoping Toronto would get the point here because he had a really good chance, but it seems like Niagara Falls, Niagara Regional Police, was able to damage the runner first.
That is true. Yes, Toronto and Niagara were having themselves a very nice time. Toronto indeed almost was able to get the runner and steal the point away from Mississippi, but then unfortunately the runner turned around and Niagara was there in the front, aggressively managing to stop the runner. Where's that? South Australia had themselves another very interesting round, coming out swinging, not really accomplishing too much in his first episode. However, I will say that he has definitely shown that he has the fire of a fierce competitor.
Yeah, he has shown up for the first 2 rounds, which is pretty good for. Oh my god.
Oh hey.
Okay.
Transit Police a little bit late to the party, just a tiny bit. Transit Police saying, yeah. So Transit Police, really showing his resilience and his adaptability that it took him like 3 years to get here, but he still got here in the end.
Anyways,
because you know what they say about Transit Police, he doesn't quit.
As I was saying about Australia, like despite being his first episode, he's still able to like show up at the end of every round, which is pretty good. Like he's not just stuck in the trees somewhere or the forest turn. Although we did have to help him a couple times.
That is true, yes. South Australia has not managed to just be stuck somewhere, unlike USA Army Police. Yes, unlike USA Army Police, who has had himself a really bad episode today. Just got his steering busted by Transit Police. Ended up in the forest in the first round of this episode. He's just really not having a good day. And JTF looks like he wasn't able to make it because it looks like he had a really bad day over on this long turn. I'm not really sure what happened. His left side is almost completely fine. His right side is just... His right side is just utterly smashed. He's pretty much missing both of his wheels.
Right, so it looks like Regional Police from Niagara will be getting the point, and we will now clean everything up and move on to the next round, the final round of this episode.
Indeed, yes, a good day for all of you Canadian fans out there. Niagara grabbed themselves an extra point, and we'll be, well, getting an extra point. Welcome to our lineup for round number 51, the final round of this episode. In first place and second place, I'm going to go ahead and talk about them as a double feature. We have Mississippi and Police Interceptor, 2 very fierce competitors that have been here since essentially the start of the game, who have, they've just been extremely aggressive. Mississippi grabbing the runner after Police Interceptor is wiped down on the beach turn twice, and both of them very fiercely fighting for that first place spot, which by the way is now unclaimed because they are tied for first once again. It is another instance of us having no first place competitor. In our third place position, Toronto Police, who is proving to be a pretty good competitor with the points that they are in possession of right now. Hasn't really done all too much this episode, I would say, aside from, holding that third place position, practicing Detroit tactics, one could say. And I don't know. I'm not really sure what much to say about Toronto. They got 1 point, and they definitely need more if they're going to be in the runnings for a victory in this tournament.
See, I wouldn't say he's on a chopping block right now because there is USA Army Police, and he has done worse than Toronto because Toronto almost got a point earlier, but it was taken away from Niagara Regional Police.
That is true, yes. Toronto fought very hard that last episode. And would I say he's on the chopping block? Personally, I would not say that. I think Toronto is a very fierce competitor who proved himself in the No AI Awareness tutorial. What's the word? Invitational. That's the word. It came to mind. I would say he's a very fierce competitor who's proved himself time and again. However, hasn't really equated to points. He does have 1 point, but I wouldn't go so far as to say that he's on the chopping block. He's definitely been giving it his all this episode. USA Army Police, on the other hand, he's definitely going to need himself a really good round today because, I would say he's on the chopping block, I'm going to say, because he just kind of wrecked a whole lot, and that's not what you want from your competitors. That's not what you want. He's got 2 points. He won 2 rounds, and that's pretty good. However, I'm not really he won 2 rounds. He's got 2 points, and he was tied with Niagara, but Niagara is now tied with JTF with 3 points. And with U.S. Army Police being left in the dust in that respect, I don't know. His fate in this tournament is a little bit in question right now.
Yeah, exactly. He is having a horrible day in this episode. He's gotten wrecked out twice and hasn't made it to the end where the runner is. But you know, miracles can happen, and he can get a point in this final round, which I highly doubt, judging from his previous actions. But that will save him from the chopping block, and we will have to determine who else to eliminate.
Indeed, yes. U.S. Army Police, this is his last chance to make it or break it. Otherwise, he'll be out of here. In our 5th place position, fierce competitor Transit Police, kind of just biding his time, showing you that he's very fierce, but again, not equating the points, I would say. Unfortunate for him that he's not managed to equate these things to points, but coming out really fierce against U.S. Army Police in that last round, as well as showing up to the end after everything was said and done, despite a really bad wipeout on the beach turn, I would say, definitely proves his resilience and his fortitude and his endurance, synonyms, in this particular episode and in this particular tournament.
Yeah, exactly. He did not give up in that last round, round 50, because despite flipping over and wiping out, he still made it from the beach turn to the runner. To my surprise, actually, as I was talking about Australia Police, and yeah, still showed up at the end.
Indeed, yes. Transit Police showing he doesn't quit, and even though he is currently stuck in second technically as a result of his 8 points, he did manage to again defeat Detroit in a very fierce episode 16, and hopefully his victories will continue and put him in the running for the 1st place position. Maybe he'll be able to catch up to Police Interceptor in Mississippi. However, those two are not making it easy for him. In our 6th position, we have JTF, champion of being in last. No, seriously, that's literally what he is. And he's got himself some pretty good points. 3. He's now tied with Niagara, though, which means he's got some competition for his particular spot in the running. And he'll probably need to pull out something pretty fierce here. Otherwise he's going to lose a position in the point standings.
Yeah, you know, even though he is the king of being last, he has not scored any points in this episode yet, despite being in last place multiple times. And he will be, eliminated if USA Army Police manages to get a point this round.
I would say that's fair. JTF is quite fierce. I believe in him personally, especially because of what he's managed to do. But there's really no one else to get rid of. So if US Army Police doesn't manage to pull off a victory in this next round, I'm going to say JTF. And that's, I'm not a fan of saying that, but yeah, that's how it's going to go, I would say. In our 7th place position, newcomer for this episode, South Australia, currently with no points, but, currently with no points and also no space between the freaking SA and then safe at the bottom of that. I just noticed that 0 out of 10 would not drive. But anyway, South Australia with no points at the moment, just biding his time, doing what he can, pretty much going for the standard strategy of a new competitor, I would say, just kind of learning the ropes, being aggressive where you can, just seeing what you can do until you have the experience. And in our final position, the champion of that last round, Niagara Regional Police, representing Team Canada, as well as Toronto. 3 points now, tied with JTF, actually managing to climb themselves up through the point standings. So yeah, congratulations to them. Could potentially be a rising star here in this game. Who knows? In any event, that is it. It is time for round number 51. Start your engines, fasten your seatbelts, turn on your lights and sirens, because round number 51 is about to begin. Well, looks like people are backing up and going in reverse over there. That's something that happens for whatever reason. JTF was doing that. Transit Police moving ahead in 5th. JTF in 6th. South Australia in 7th. And we have Niagara in the back in last. Who, by the way, did what Belasco could not of that last round.
Oh, right. He did win from last place, which is quite an achievement in this
That is true.
tournament.
He starts in last, and he won a round. Did what Belasco never could.
Anyways, I noticed that we haven't had to use the shipping container at the bus turn yet, because none of the cars have been really turned
That's true,
around.
yes. Toronto looks like they might be losing a position. Maybe. No. Keeping it from U.S. Army Police. Transit Police moves ahead. Transit Police trying to move ahead as well, but I think they will be staying in 5th at the moment. Unfortunate for them. Lineup doesn't look like it's really changed much. However, I think something might have happened with Niagara in the back. Anything happened over there? Yeah, Niagara moved up ahead of JTF, so JTF is now in his comfort zone, and Niagara appears to now be in 7th.
Let's see if any cars wipe out here, or...
Potentially, yes. I think the last round was a fluke because USA Army Police's steering was busted, but yeah. It's Army Police coming down the turn pretty fast as well, I will say.
Yeah, he is catching up with Toronto right now, but we'll see if he could manage to overtake him eventually.
True, yes. Transit Police running up to 5th place. We have South Australia in 6th, followed by Niagara in 7th, and JTF in last, right where he wants to be.
Oh, maybe an overtake?
Being aggressive, being a little aggressive with Niagara in that positioning, but nothing will come of it.
Let's see if any cars wipe out the forest turn again. They have wiped
We're
out
now
in the past
reaching the
two.
forest turn where cars enjoy wiping out. U.S. Army Police having a bad day, drifting out of it, learning from Transit Police. These two, though, are having a bit of a problem. South Australia will be taking themselves a position. U.S. Army Police, Niagara drifting out as well. JTF drifting out. Looks like everyone's okay except Transit Police. And also, I got to say, that could have been a result of the fact that U.S. Army Police was right there. So it looks like Transit now in last. A little unfortunate for them, but they have enough of a victory from that last episode that they will not need to sweat it that much.
Right, I wonder if Interceptor will overshoot this corner again, because he has overshot it already. And he is going to overshoot again. He might go into
looks
the
like
trees.
Police Interceptor overshooting this corner again as well, but managing to recover from it. Toronto staying in 3rd as well. Looks like Mississippi staying in 1st. As usual, things pretty normal, I would say. South Australia, but U.S. Army Police bumping around, overshooting the corner a little bit. How's the beach turn going? Mississippi Police Interceptor overshooting the corner once again. We got Transit Police going over as well. Mississippi is now going to have free reign to get the runner. South Australia overtakes it as well, tries to recover, but is not able to.
Oh, he flips over. Wow.
Interceptor. Looks like his world's been turned upside down. Get it? Because Australian jokes.
So, yeah, I'm assuming he
Looks
will
like
be
this is going to happen again, I would say. 3 rounds in a row.
Or not, or not.
Or maybe not. I don't know here. The runner being a little stopped. Mississippi just going up that rock right there, and the runner will just kind of get off scot-free. Is anyone else coming along? Who is that? That is Toronto, I believe, ladies and gentlemen. Toronto and JTF running around to try and stop the runner, as everyone else is just kind of in a big pileup over at the beach turn. South Australia, our newcomer as well, will be having himself a nice kind of jump-ish. That looks pretty cool back onto the road. So how are things going over at the runner as you help these cars? Looks like the runner's been hit somewhere somehow on the cinematic corner by Mississippi. Yes, Toronto moving ahead as well. And it looks like things are going to be pretty normal here. Oh, JTF hitting Toronto, actually allowing the runner to break free. And who is that? Here comes South Australia, the newcomer for this, who could potentially grab themselves a head-on right here. Will he manage to get the hit? He misses entirely. South Australia with the upside. Police Interceptor gets the head-on, ladies and gentlemen. Police Interceptor moves ahead, recovers from his failure at the beach turn, moves ahead. Here he comes, Toronto. And here comes Mississippi battling with Police Interceptor. Doesn't want him to get the point. The runner goes off into the ditch, and that is the end of the round, ladies and gentlemen. Being followed by JTF, Toronto, U.S. Army Police, and Niagara Police.
Right, I think Interceptor was getting that point because that was a hit that killed the runner, and everybody else just ended up hitting him.
That was quite the head-on collision from Police Interceptor. Extreme upset for Mississippi fans here. That South Australia had a chance to get their first point, and they missed. Amazing upset for our fans from Australia, or Australia fans in general. Very unfortunate for them. It looks like things are still bad. South Australia looks like they're a little mad, and Mississippi and Police Interceptor still just battling it out. Yeah, these two can't get enough of fighting each other, ladies and gentlemen.
So it looks like Interceptor takes back the lead in this episode. Oh, okay. Anyways, yeah, Interceptor takes back the lead in this episode, which was predicted at the beginning because, you know, he is a really competitive driver.
Indeed, yes. Police Interceptor, insanely competitive drive. Oh, hey, here's Transit Police. I windowed out to go note it down in my text document, and then Transit Police showed up. So again, Transit Police doesn't quit no matter what happens. So yeah, Police Interceptor will be taking the lead in this tournament. We started with Mississippi in the lead, and Police Interceptor managed to win 2 of those 3 rounds. Congratulations to Police Interceptor. However, a huge upset for all the fans of not Police Interceptor, because Police Interceptor is now holding firm in first at 12 points. What the heck are these two doing, by the way?
Who knows? Oh, they're free.
Oh, Police Interceptor and Mississippi kind of break free. Police Interceptor with a little bit of a victory dance. Mississippi just kind of trying to go with sportsmanship and park back there. Actually hits Transit Police into the ditch. And Police Interceptor goes in the ditch. It's very mean of Mississippi. Looks like Mississippi is being a little bit salty right now. So yeah, Mississippi with a little bit of unsportsmanlike conduct, being salty, huh?
Right, and since we're talking about him, let's go over how he did in this round.
3 rounds of being able to pit maneuver the runner, having free reign and making nothing happen. What more do you say? Unfortunate, and now he's not in the lead. So, you know, actions have consequences. South Australia, as I said, with a complete upset, they had their chance to head on. They had their chance to get a head on, and they just weren't able to make it happen. They missed. Had they managed to hit it, they would have gotten their first point and proven themselves. And it's just an upset, just an upset, ladies and gentlemen.
Yeah, I was really hoping for him to get that first point because he was in place for a head-on collision, but of course that's not the case.
Indeed, yes. And as for everyone else, they're all in the ditch. Niagara had a pretty good round. They ended up in the ditch. USA Army Police had a pretty better round than the last two, but they ended up in the ditch. And I believe as a result of that, well, we'll get to that. I don't even know who that is. JTF, who's currently upside down, so doing their best Australia impersonation. They ended up in the ditch. Good competitor, ended up in the ditch, unfortunately, like everyone else. Toronto, also pretty fierce that game, but ended up in the ditch. Unfortunate for them. Police Interceptor, the winner of that round, who also decided to take a victory lap and end up in the ditch. They are now in the lead with 12, and yeah. And Transit Police, fierce competitor who doesn't give up as usual. I would say they ended up in the ditch, but they did not. They ended up at the end of the round, and then were pushed into the ditch by Mississippi. That is what happened. So right. Yeah, I guess these cars really dig being down here.
Right, so here comes the point of the episode where we have to eliminate a car, and looks like clear answer is USA Army Police. He has done nothing in this episode useful in terms of getting a point, and all he does is crash. And yeah, he had his chance to redeem himself, but of course that did not happen.
Yes, U.S. Army Police will be eliminated, no contest, because even though they do have a couple of points to their name, they just haven't really managed to do much. Haven't managed to do much since they came in like 5 episodes ago, and pretty terrible competitor this entire episode, I would say. So yeah, U.S. Army Police will be eliminated. And that is it, ladies and gentlemen. Thank you for watching. My name is UsernameHere, joined by my co-commentator, Devion. We'll be signing off to catch you in the next episode of the Grand Marshal Grand Tournament.